What's up, guys? New top 3 mints for this week. This week we have one that's the most obvious one coming up, which is Antonym. Even though there's no information about it available whatsoever, no website, no Discord, it has a massive following. The art is, of course, very trending right now. The owners of it, they have a decent following themselves as well. So this is going to be the most obvious one. Most likely will be a good flip. If you're not looking to hold it, then I have two other ones that I guess are pretty decent. This week we don't have any very over-the-top mints like we did last week with Invisible Friends. That obviously flopped massively after the after the review came. And then I have a bit of a bonus one that could potentially be a quick flip. I'm not looking to hold any of these. I usually don't at all. So the first one is Antonym, 229k followers on Twitter. The art looks dope. They've done a very good job in, of course, developing this style. I think that there's a pretty decent budget that went into the development of this project. Just the overall like trailers that they come up with does show that they've put a lot of time and a lot of attention into making this, right? Funny thing is, but the team that's behind it isn't really that well known, hasn't really done anything beforehand. So it kind of seems like they just came out of nowhere. They've put a bunch of money into this project that eventually will look something like this. I am very curious to see what it's going to look like after the review. Of course, we've seen a lot of flops happening with hype bears and now Invisible Friends that just looked awful after the flop. I do think if these NFTs look like this, if this is actually your NFT, well then that's definitely a good looking NFT, right? We know, because it is a similar style to, for example, Hype Bears or Hype, what is it? Hype Beast and Hype Bears. It's a similar style to it, but I do think, or Clone War or Clone X as well, I think that if this is going to be an NFT, that people will be very happy with it. Details of it, there's going to be 888 Antonym Genesis. Private sale will be half of it, public sale will be half of it. And then you have the A list that you can be a part of. You can win 1, OG has 2, and then public Dutch auction will have 3. So the first one is tomorrow. That's the private sale. Price is 0.185 Ethereum plus gas, obviously. And then the public will be a day later, which is another 4,400, which then will be a Dutch auction. Concept that they come up with, which I think is cool, they've already announced it beforehand, is how much the Dutch auction will be at, which is 20% above OpenSea floor price. Dutch auction usually means that the price lowers, right? It drops after a certain X amount of minutes. So let's say they mint on the private sale for 0.185 and floor price ends up being 0.6 or 0.7, right, as an example. Then it means that they will be 20% above that, so around 0.8, 0.9. But floor price will drop, or so the Dutch auction price will drop. So how much is it dropping? How often, by how many, and up until what point? So will they actually drop all the way towards the floor price or below? Will they stop somewhere above that? Or are they just going to keep it at this 20% of the floor price? That could be a possibility as well. A different style to the Dutch auction. Just set up one price that they don't know yet. They don't know right now what the floor price will be, obviously. So then they might just wait until the floor price is known, and then they'll set the price at that number. That could be a possibility, right? I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the floor price. I do think, here's explanation. There we go. Let's not sugarcoat it. Many in the NFT community have very negative feelings towards Dutch auctions. Very true and very fair to say. I think that Dutch auctions is just a massive cash grab, right? Despite incredibly successful launches seen by projects high quality like Azuki, that's probably the only one that did it properly, the entire space has been burned by the Dutch auction that continue to fatally float. Float, you say, let's dive deeper. In this truest sense, a Dutch auction is a type of public sale intended to do two things. Cut down on gas fee, give projects exposure to the fair market value of a portion of the NFTs. I think this is actually bullshit. This is what they say, that's the reason behind it, but it's just to gain as much money as possible. If there's enough hype and a Dutch auction, people will just pay the most expensive one, but they will pay the most amount of money. And that's the only goal, to just get more money, because these projects have enough exposure already, and the fair market value is not set at a Dutch auction. The most expensive one People are just buying into it because of FOMO, not because it's actually worth that much money. Because they buy in at the most, like the most expensive one, all the way at the start. Floor price ends up not being even close to that number, and they lose a lot of money. That's not fair at all. That's the opposite of fair. It's unfair to those people that FOMOed in all the way at the start. You can say, yeah, but the market decided to buy in and to do that. Yeah, sure, they did, because they were afraid they would miss out, not because the project is actually worth that much, right? Cut down on gas fees. Well, you can also just split it up in multiple events and multiple sales, and then you would split up the gas fee anyway. So also not true in my opinion. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with either of these objectives, especially if a project has been transparent about its plans for delivering real value to the holders, which again is always a empty promise up until something has actually been done and delivered. Those who align are free to purchase at whatever price they are comfortable, just like on secondary. So what is this issue that's ruining Dutch auction and hurting the space? Project created FOMO. Let's face it, in the short term of a project's perspective, FOMO works great. People ape in at significantly inflated prices, and the dev wallet just gets fatter and fatter. Yeah, exactly. However, FOMO also contributes to creating an unsustainable group of overextended minters who, if they don't see immediate returns on their investment, experience massive buyer remorse and dump on the floor, which has a cascading effect that causes mass undercutting and panic. Yeah, that's exactly true. FOMO DA is project treasury short term, minters and long term go down. Yes, for founders that have a long term vision, this is basically a non starter. Founders should avoid at all costs creating a FOMO environment around their public sale. True. This means that little to no incentives, aka first X minter, get big perks. Announcement we see all the time. Sure, this would probably mean that more money up front, but this causes a domino effect on people coming into too soon, which leaves projects hanging in the balance during its most critical hour. Furthermore, projects consistently make the mistake of starting the price at a reasonable range, which bypasses the price discovery phase and leads to people jumping in too soon. This sets off the FOMO chain reaction that projects should avoid for long-term success. True. But what does it mean for them? Because now we're just going through a way too long of a thread here. They should set their DA really low, right? Yes. Artificial low Dutch auction basically leads to the gas wars that the model was made to prevent. Ultimately, people spend the exact same amount as they would on a normal mint. Illustrate the point, let's real example. A project that I love, by the way, said that Dutch auction started approximately 3 Ethereum below fair market value. What happened is we saw insane amounts of gas up to 3.5 Ethereum competing to buy the top of the Dutch auction. Sure, if this is gas fee, then you're paying 6.5. You might as well put it up at 6.5 because then the money at least goes to the project and not the gas fee. But this is just bullshit. Just cut it up then. Do like 3 different phases instead of 1, right? Now that 3.5 spent on gas fee instead of buying, use to build long-term project. Yeah, that's what I just said. So how would a proper Dutch auction work? Counterintuitively, the Dutch auction to start a price that no rational person would buy it. By starting at 20% above the floor, any person buying the initial price is initially throwing 20% into the wind. There is and will be no incentive to mint on public versus buying on secondary. At this point, the price continually drops until fair market purchase. So if there's no incentive to mint compared to public, compared to secondary, then it means even when it's set at 20% above, people are going to buy the floor on OpenSea, which makes sense because why would you mint for 20% more if you can also buy for 20% less on OpenSea, right? What probably will happen that way is people are going to buy the floor on OpenSea and then the floor price will go up until it's going to be above that mint price, above that Dutch auction price, and then suddenly it becomes attractive again to mint, and then they start minting it until maybe the floor price drops again or whatever. Likewise, there is and should be no reason for people to buy the top of the Dutch auction, and that is by design. People should and will have plenty of time to purchase where they will be comfortable and are actually incentivized to purchase off of secondary before buying Dutch auction. So to close, Dutch auction will always be used to unsavory folks and projects looking to milk the FOMO and make a big bag. The real solution: find projects you support, understand the long term, educate yourself on risks, and don't overextend. All right, cool. Well, this is a lot of useless information. It makes sense what they're saying, but we already knew this. So cool. It's going to be 20% above the floor price, meaning you'd be better off buying off the floor price rather than Dutch auction. Maybe they do that to push the floor price up again. That could be a possibility behind it, right? But now we know when the mint is. It is tomorrow for the pre-sale and in 2 days for the public. And then it's going to be a Dutch auction 20% above 0.18 or 185 is the pre-sale mint, and then Dutch auction 20% above the floor price, which kind of all makes sense, right? Second one that we have is Dippies, and then we have Robert Duck Bath Party. Dippies is going to be on March the 2nd, right? It's a pretty basic concept, I guess. They have a decent following. Free roll awaits March the 2nd. It's a bit of a doodles style art, I guess. They have a pretty decent following also in their Discord. They have a pretty decent amount of people in their Discord. I actually have a whitelist. I was lucky to get a whitelist through my mutant ape. That sometimes gives a couple of perks, right? But here you can see there's 50k people in the Discord as well. And the mint price will be 0.06 Ethereum, supply 8,888, just like Antonym as well. Similar. Pretty basic stuff, pretty simple. There's a bit of a video here as well. I don't like this concept anymore, really, myself. I think I thought Google's Doodles was kind of cool, but this, yeah, it's just so basic, right? This is a bit of a hippie style, that's why it's called Dippies, right? Which you probably would have been able to fill out yourself already. There's a bit of a story behind it. I'm not going to go into too much depth on it. This is the team that's behind it, the Fire Pit. To be honest, I don't really like this project. I'm sure there's a little bit to it. But yeah, March on the 2nd, at 12 p.m. EST, allowed list. And then March the 3rd, there's going to be the public. Do I really think that this has a lot of potential? Well, even if the floor price goes towards 0.1, there's a little bit of money in there that you can make, right? There's 2 that you can do. So if you would have a 0.04 profit on 1, then times 2, 0.08 minus gas fee. Secondary royalties 5%, which is less than most of the times because usually it's 7.5, so you keep a little bit more left over in your pocket. This is the team. Again, do I really like this project? No, not really. It's really copied from a lot of other projects that are out there, and it's very, very simple, very, very basic. But yeah, I'm just in it for the flip. I do think that the floor price will be up, so I do think that you can make a little bit of money on this one. Then Robert Duck Bath Party, kind of similar. This has a little bit of a different feel to it, so I do like this one a little bit more than Dippies. There will be 10k of this coming on March the 1st. Also the pre-sale, I believe, on March the 1st, and then another one on March the 2nd. This one is a little bit more fun, a little bit more cute, a little bit... It's still very similar to a lot of other projects out there, obviously, but it's a little bit different. They tried to at least bring in a little bit of a funny angle, I guess. They are hand-drawn by Gal Sir, which is this guy, has a big following himself. He is an artist of Rubber Duck Bath Party and also at Slimes. I don't know, Slimes. Seems like this one is out there already. We can have a quick look if that's true. And see what the floor price is of Slimes. Yes, so floor price is 0.15, roughly, 145. Only 1k available of these, and well, this is a pretty decent volume, I guess, for this amount of NFTs that's out there. When did it roughly release? This is last year already, December last year. So this guy is, where is it? This guy is the artist behind it. He has a very decent following himself, and that's always helpful for a project, right? Ducks are randomly generated, constructed of over 200 different components. Each duck is unique, minted as an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. What's the tech? They are stored on ERC 721, so that's Ethereum. After the party, the updated metadata and images will be uploaded to IPFS. Metadata includes all the historical versions of your duck. Pre-game, we invited some people to the pre-game. Yeah, when's mint? Here we go. March the 1st is for the pre-game list, the allow list. And if they don't cover it all, it'll be on the raffle mint on March the 2nd, right? So they could potentially sell out during the pre-game already. Mint price 0.08. I do think this can double, right? Or more than that. This could be a floor price of 0.2 or more probably. And you can have 2 ducks if you mint one. So published before the mint price, maximum mint amount is the same for anyone who mints a duck, whether the pre-game or the raffle. You'll be able to mint from our website as well as directly from Etherscan. So you can go into the contract, I guess. See more note on this at the end. We'll publish our contract address ahead of the mint on Twitter and link it from our website. Support different types of things. Pre-game mint, here we go. The max mint amount is for the entirety of the mint. If you have minted 2 ducks during the pre-game mint, you won't be able to mint again. Pre-game will be on March the 1st. Pre-game list will include no more than 5,000. So if everybody would do 2, then it would be filled up after that already. Close the pre-game on Sunday, February. So you're not able to get into the pre-sale anymore now. And then a raffle. To ensure a safe, fair, and human public mint, we decided to turn our public mint into a raffle mint. When taking the current circumstances into account, if we would have a traditional public mint, the entire supply will be minted by bots, which will harm our community and culture. Allowing that to happen would not give the public a fair chance. Yeah, sure. Given the above, we decided to hold a raffle mint instead. The raffle mint is similar to a public mint in the sense that you won't be guaranteed to be able to mint a duck, as there will be more wallets on the list than ducks available. How to enter, also closed already, but you were able to get off straight off the address, it said. How many ducks will be available to mint during the raffle? Hold up. Now, shortly after closing the pre-game list on February 27th, which is yesterday, we'll publish a link to enter the raffle. Entire entry requirements will be announced soon. So you can still probably do that one. So you just get onto the raffle and then you're able to potentially mint if you're lucky. Are the mints price the same? Yes, they're the same. So 0.08, which I think is cool. That's fair. And then I won a raffle. Is it a guarantee that I can mint a duck? No, because it depends on how many people did on the pre-sale, of course. This will be on March the 2nd, and then that's going to continue until all 10,000 duckies are minted. So where did it say something about safety reminder, never DM you first, yeah, verify contract, don't rush in, we don't surprise mint, yeah, here we go. We allow people to mint directly from the contract using Etherscan or any other interface. We secure the pre-game mint using MerkleTree, which ensures that only wallets on the list can mint. We will publish a spreadsheet of all wallets on the list, including their respective proofs. Don't worry, publishing the proofs is 100% safe, as the transactions will fail if it isn't signed by the wallet. Alright, cool. So it's not for everybody. It's not like they just open it up as a mistake or a fault in there. That's what I thought for a second. When the vibe is right, parties will be announced on Twitter. Craving a party, let us know in the Win Party Discord channel to tweet us the best party meme hashtag. So they're gonna create parties. What are BAF parties? BAF parties are virtual events happening on the blockchain. No party is the same, and the only thing we can promise is that your duck will come home changed forever. Parties will be announced on Twitter and Discord. Party time, so it's all digital. That's about it. And then this is the team. Nothing too special about the team here either. I've had a look at it before, and yeah, there's not a whole lot. This guy has got a couple of other businesses that he runs already, so he is probably familiar in the business space itself, but this is his first major project that's on like an NFT project like that. Then lastly, as I said, a bit of a bonus is Hoodles, which is happening pre-sale mint in 5 days on March the 5th. Hoodles, again, similar to, maybe a little bit similar to Dippies and Doodles that have been before Hoodles. Again, I don't like it that much, but it could be potentially a good flip. So it could be good to just keep your eye out on this one, just to see whether the floor price is high enough. What I always do, check the floor price, see whether the floor price is high enough. If there's volume and the floor price is higher than the mint, then just mint it and then just straight away sell it on OpenSea. Just an easy quick clip for a small little profit. That's all. Quick little top 3 for this week mints. We'll be back on Sunday or Monday for next week's top 3. Thanks for watching though, and I'll see you guys in the next video.